Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
As you know, this country, no country can afford to pay for illegal immigration, health care for everybody that comes into the country, and that's what they're insisting.
They're giving these illegal aliens identification. They just go to the hospital. They can't turn them away. So when the illegal alien is sick, they just go to the emergency room. You can turn them away? No, they got to give them medicine. They got to prescribe them certain stuff. They can't turn them away. So when you got 20 million, 30 million people that are using services, it's a problem. All right, let's go to the government shutdown. We want to talk about the government shutdown. Let me just give you the short and sweet, and then we're going to go through it. It appears that on the Republican side, it's that the Democrats want us to continue the Obama era, Obamacare, and other programs that was initiated in 2020 for COVID, and it ain't no COVID no more. But they want us to continue those programs. The Republicans are saying that it's too expensive. The Democrats are saying that they're trying to rob people of health care and all of those crazy stuff. Now, let's go through what the people are saying. And this is why I love Ground Out News, because it tells you everything you need to know right here. You ain't got to go looking too far. Now, all you got to do is see what the left is saying and the right is saying. Now, we got one article from the right. It says government shutdown continues as Senate Democrats block GOP funding bill for third time. Now, don't you find it interesting that this verbiage is that they're blocking it? The blame is on the Democrats. You go down to the left, where's the blame placed on, right? The Senate, again, fails to pass bill amid funding government as blame game continues. Government shutdown after Trump and Congress failed to reach a deal. As you can see, y'all, your grandma and them looking at this stuff. CNN, ABC, why don't they tell the truth? Or why is it got to be a certain perspective? The Democrats are the one that are not coming to the table to vote for this spending bill. And we all know it. And so let me go to one of these articles and see what they're talking about. Maybe I'll go to CNN, because we already know what the Republican side are going to talk about. Let's see what the CNN is talking about. All right, they got your boy up there. Shutdown day one. The federal government shut down midnight after a deadlock. Congress failed to reach a deal on funding. Republicans and Democrats are at odds over enhanced Obamacare subsidies. Now, process this with me real quick. Obamacare subsidies. The biggest spending in the American budget is subsidies and Medicare, Medicaid. 75% of all of our spending. It dwarfs war spending. It's on Medicare, Medicaid, and entitlements. And the Democrats like to say that we're not doing this for illegal aliens. Illegal aliens don't have an opportunity to get access to health care. The heck they don't. Because think about it like this. They're giving these illegal aliens identification, Social Security numbers. That's why we saw 20 million Social Security numbers that were active, but not even being, people were dead, but they were still active. Because they're rotating them into with these illegal aliens. They're working on jobs illegally. They go to the hospital when COVID happened. They get serviced. They don't turn them away. They just go to the hospital. They can't turn them away. So when the illegal alien is sick, they just go to the emergency room. You can turn them away? No, they got to give them medicine. They got to prescribe them certain stuff. They can't turn them away. So when you got 20 million, 30 million people that are using services, it's a problem. It's a problem. And many state level healthcare systems are supporting illegal aliens. And it's a shame that the government plays politics with our time, effort, and energy. But just for your information, and like I said, you guys can see, how this works over here. Let me go back to Ground Out News. If you are interested in Ground Out News, which I use Ground Out News all the time, and I think is the best platform for you to get the totality of information that you need, you need to get the Vantage plan like I have. Unlimited plan, so you get all the features. You don't need to cheap out on the features. And you get 40% off. They hooked me up. I got you guys. 40% off. All you got to do is go to ground.news/Tatum. Ground.news/Tatum. You get 40% off. Get your news from Ground.news because it's the best place to get a totality of news and totality of news that you can trust. All right. So let's get to who's going to still receive funding with the government shutdown. Now, we all know that the government, the Congress, they still get their money. I wish that Congress didn't get money if they shut the government down, because therefore they have a vested interest to make it work instead of lingering on in the shutdown. But the people that still get money, obviously, is national security. So if you're associated with national security, Medicare, Social Security, Veterans Care, all those things are not going to be hampered when it comes to funding. What's going to stay open? National security, safety, which means the military, FBI, Border Patrol, and prisons. Air traffic control, obviously. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid will continue. Mandatory funding was why it will continue, thank God. Veteran care continues. Emergency response, meaning FEMA, all that will continue. Some national parks open with reduced services. What's being shut down? Non-essential offices, admin work, permits, museums, research and inspections, which is the FDA, the NIH, CDC, which I ain't got a problem with that. Grants, new contracts will be halted. WIC, local aid programs may run out of funding very quickly without government subsidies. That's it right there. WIC and local government aid. They want us to continue to subsidize because if they're not getting it on the federal level, they're getting it with local subsidies. And the government is vicariously funding that. They want illegal aliens to get what they need because if they start not getting what they need, they're going to start going back where they came from. Many national parks will be closed and some of them will be closed partially. So let's play the news clip so you can get a glimpse of what's going on in the news. Let's start with the first clip.
What do Senate Democrats ask for? Well, initially, they said that they wanted to shut down the government because Donald Trump was a dictator. Okay, that's absurd. Then they said they wanted to shut down the government because they wanted hundreds of billions of dollars for health care benefits for illegal aliens. That, of course, is also absurd. And now they're saying they just want to work on ensuring that Americans have low-cost health care. Well, I agree with them. Of course, we all want to ensure that Americans have low-cost health care, so let's work together on that. You don't shut the government down. You don't take the government as a hostage because you want to engage in a negotiation about health care costs. Let's do that negotiation, but let's do it in the context of actually opening the government and ensuring those essential services are actually provided to the American people.
That sounds reasonable, doesn't it? Let's go to AOC because Nick said she was cute today. He said he liked her. He said he'll get a number if he could. And I told him if he ever get a number, he can't work for me. No, I'm just playing. Wrote a clip. I made that up. Okay,
let me ask you this: there are some people I have seen who have the following theory of why Senate Democrats have not cut a deal where they give 8 votes and move along, and that is that Chuck Schumer is worried about a primary challenge from you. And is worried about the politics to his left flank. And so because of that worry about a primary challenge, he's going to shut down the government. Ergo, it is AOC's fault that the government's shutting down, or that you're somehow the kind of fulcrum of this. And I want to just ask you straight up, are you planning to primary challenge him? Do you think that's why he's doing this?
This is so not about me in this moment. This is about people being able to ensure their children. And I will say, because I saw some senators speculating about this, and I saw some Republican members of Congress saying, oh, well, if we have this shutdown, it's because of AOC. Well, if that's the case, my office is open and you are free to walk in and negotiate with me directly. Because what I'm not going to do is tolerate 4 million uninsured Americans because Donald Trump decided one day that he wants to just make sure that kids are dying because they don't have access to insurance.
I wish people get sued over this stuff. He want to ensure kids are dying. Why won't the parent die before the kid? Because if my kid was starving, I feed my kid before I feed myself. At least I give them some of the food that I'm eating. Kids are going to die without health care. But the parents aren't going to die. Well, what are you saying? If I had to abandon my own health care and only put my kid under a health care plan and I pay for that and I don't get health care, that's what every rational parent would do. What are you saying? The parent is going to let their kid they can't afford their kids' health care, but they can afford theirs. These people are stupid to me. If something happened, I don't need health care. I'm a grown man. Man, be honest, most people don't really even need to be going to the doctor. What you need to do is get your lazy off the couch and eat right and do the right thing, and you wouldn't even be needing to go to the doctor other than checkups. Some of y'all at the doctor all day long running up the bill because you don't want to do what's right with your own health. And then therefore, the people that really need the health care, that really have pre-existing conditions or things like that they cannot control, let them run it up. These people are just lying. The children thing is what kills me. In Israel, they're killing babies and children. Okay, that's all that's happening there? The only thing you mentioned is children. The healthcare says they want babies to die. Really? Really? If your kid needed emergency surgery or needed emergency health care, they cannot refuse your kid at the hospital. So they're going to die? Wrote a clip.
That's what's not going to happen. And so if those senators think that we're having a shutdown because of me, they're free to enter my office and negotiate, because what we're not going to do is allow all of millions of people in this country to not be able to afford their insulin and their chemotherapy. So come strike a deal with me if that's what they really think is going on.
Hold on. They're not going to be able to get the chemotherapy, or they can't afford the chemotherapy. Which one are you saying? Because if you just can't afford it, people just don't pay it. Like for, I'll say chemotherapy, right? I couldn't imagine that chemotherapy you can't afford it at all. Like, that's the thing that kind of gets me. You can't afford chemotherapy at all. They don't even do chemotherapy through the radiation stuff as much as they used to do. Now they give you chemo pills if you just found out you got cancer. They're going to cut your chemotherapy off because of the government shutdown or something Donald Trump has done. They're going to cut your chemotherapy off. If you stop giving all these money to these illegals and they're in our country using our resources, we'll have more money to give to the kids for chemotherapy. I despise these people.
What you're doing. Thank you very much, Linda. Okay, any questions, please?
Mr. President, as we inch closer to a government shutdown this morning, you said you might do a lot of layoffs. If DOGE is already reducing the federal workforce, why is it necessary to link more federal jobs cut to a shutdown?
Well, the Democrats want to shut it down, so when you shut it down, you have to do layoffs. So we'd be laying off a lot of people that are going to be very affected, and the Democrats, they're going to be Democrats. As you know, this country, no country can afford to pay for illegal immigration, health care for everybody that comes into the country, and that's what they're insisting. And obviously, I have an obligation to not accept that. That would affect everybody. You know, when I see what we're doing with AI and all the plants that are opening up in the country, $17 trillion is coming. And if you compare that to Biden had in 4 years less than $1 trillion. We have 17 trillion, more than that. I think it's going to be much more than that, David. By the end of this year, I think it's going to be far over that. It's a record. It's already a record in 8 months. It's a record by a lot. And so we're doing well as a country. So the last thing we want to do is shut it down. But a lot of good can come down from shutdowns. We can get rid of a lot of things that we didn't want, and they'd be Democrat things. But they want open borders. They want men playing in women's sports. They want transgender for everybody. They never stop. They don't learn. We won an election in a landslide. They just don't learn. So we have no choice. I have to do that for the country. Yes.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bull. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, you know, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
So the president's been posting some images of Leader Jeffries and Senator Schumer recently. You've said that you're interested in good faith negotiations with these leaders, but you know, what message does that send? Is it helpful to post pictures of Leader Jeffries in a sombrero if you're trying to have good faith talks with him?
Oh, I think it's funny. The president's joking, and we're having a good time. You can negotiate in good faith while also poking a little bit of fun at some of the absurdities of the Democrats' positions, and even, you know, poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. And I've talked to the President of the United States about that. Now
let's play this beaver mouth, buck-eyed weirdo. Let's play her talking about the government clip 3. Is this the one where she was crying about a shutdown? Maxine Waters? Yeah. No, AOC in the government. Oh, that was the AOC clip. Yeah. Oh, let's talk to Maxine. Let's go to old hag Maxine. Look like James Brown. James Brown reincarnated as Maxine Waters. Roll it.
Do Democrats want to prioritize the health care of illegal aliens over a government shutdown?
She an old, crazy-looking mother.
Excuse me. Stop it right there. We're not prioritizing. What we're doing is saying simply we want to keep the government open, and we want to work with the Republicans and have a bipartisan agreement to keep this government open, and health care is at the top of our agenda.
But aren't Democrats demanding health care for illegal aliens?
Democrats are demanding health care for everybody. We want to save lives. We want to make sure that health care is available to those who would die, but having the help of their government.
So you're good with the government shutdown, even if it means giving health care to people who aren't American citizens?
Well, that's what you're pushing on. What you're trying to do is you're standing here and you're trying to make me say that somehow we're going to put non-citizens over Americans. Quit it. Stop it. This is the kind of journalism we don't need.
No, I'm just
you're
asking
divisive.
questions.
No, you're not.
Yeah, no,
you're being divisive. No, please. You don't need to ask that question. You're just trying to get controversy here. You're not going to get it from me. We want to save health care for all people. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Appreciate it.
You know, why do our government officials, why can't they just say, we cannot fund illegal aliens? We just can't. Like, these people need to go back. I'm sorry. We need American citizens to have all of the first priority. But they don't believe that. We're funding all Americans. What do you mean? No, you're not. The illegals shouldn't get no money from us. What are we saying here? All right. Let's go to the Democrats when they were crying about the shutdown in clip 5.
It is not normal to shut down the government when we don't get what we want.
If the government shuts down, it will be average Americans who suffer most. A government shutdown means seniors who rely on Social Security could be thrown into chaos.
Families will be hurt. Farmers will be hurt.
It's the service members who will work without a paycheck. It's the firefighters who will be furloughed.
This shutdown, you know who's going to feel the pain? You know who it hurts? You. Everyday people and the most vulnerable. Seniors, veterans, working families, hungry kids, y'all.
Democrats are signaling they're ready for a fight. This time, Schumer tells the Associated Press, quote, things have changed.
It is not normal to shut down the government when we don't get what we want.
Do we got another one, clip 6?
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
I think there's a special place in hell for politicians. I think God gonna have their own VIP section. Why are y'all doing this to the people? Why y'all playing? It's all a game to these people, man. They sit up here, everybody on the debate stage, raise their hand and said their policy include health care for illegal aliens, everybody. And Joe Biden was last because his brain didn't receive what was happening at first. But everybody raised their hand. But then they yell at the reporter saying she's trying to create controversies. This is what y'all believe. Every presidential candidate up there raised their hand. And then every time the Republicans do something, they got to oppose it. Why can't you guys just keep the government? Why can't you guys work together? Keep the government open and then you negotiate this stuff. When Trump shut the government down, it's all bad and everybody's going to die. When Trump don't want the government to shut down, they willing to shut it down because it's all bad and everybody's going to die. Like, I mean, what are y'all up there doing anyway? I feel like there has to be a percentage of agreement from Congress or everybody gets replaced. Like, y'all got to be able to agree, bruh. Y'all can't just do this year in and year out where y'all just going at each other for no reason. That's like two parents that hate each other and fight in front of the kids all the time. At some point, y'all gonna have to agree to disagree on some things so you're not fighting all the time in front of the kids. You're never gonna get anywhere with just fighting with each other. And I think most of it is the Democrats. Most of it is the Democrats.